Hello and welcome all of my fellow Predecessor players and MOBA enjoyers alike. If you are an active, returning, or brand new player to Predecessor, I have 5 tips for you today that should drastically improve your gameplay. First tip is to buy full items. What people do is if they don't have enough gold, they will buy tier 2 items and they'll buy a bunch of them. Let's get this. The fortified mantle. I'm gonna go get the barbaric cleaver. I'm gonna get a ruthless broadsword. Those aren't as good as tier 3 items. You're going to build into tier 2 items so that then you can build into tier 3 items. The thing is though, you don't want to just have a bunch of tier 2 items for the entire game. I need 1600 in order to max out and get Overlord. So I'm not going to stay out there on the field and wait for that extra 500. I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna buy the next part of this tree. The reason for that is because then it'll make your tier 3 item cheaper. The only thing you're gonna need now is 700, so you can get 700 super fast. But if you are in a situation where you have to go back, you might as well build the next tree. Tip number 2, freezing lanes. At 1 minute, a wave of minions will spawn, and then they're gonna come down the lane, and then they're gonna meet in the middle like this. Oftentimes, what a ton of ADCs do is they just mindlessly hit the wave. But also to the support, because I see a lot of supports do this too, a lot of supports will just spam all their abilities, and then they'll end up killing the wave, which then pushes the wave. Stop doing that. You're not helping your ADC. You're only pushing your lane further, which is kind of gonna kill your lane. The reason you don't want to push the wave like crazy is because now look at where my minions are. If the enemy jungler is right there, he's just gonna walk out of that fog wall and jump on me. It's super early in the game. I have half my HP. I'm gonna die. Also, because my wave is all the way up here, they would be able to comfortably sit and get the CS, making it so that you can't get CS, but it's also making them get the CS in a safe place. So this right here, this is ideal. If you can get the wave like this and you can keep getting your wave and the enemy wave to meet right about here. You want them to meet right about there. Only last hit them. If they get too close to your tower, you can kind of train them around like this because they will follow you until the next wave shows up. Tip number 3 is going to be listening to your callouts. Your team and their callouts are very, very important. The only way you know what's happening on the map is if you yourself are looking at the map, or when your team is pinging things, right? You see those blue exclamation points on the map, pinging where something is happening, or when they do a call out, attack the mid lane, attack the right lane. Hey, we need to go attack Orb Prime. Now, with that being said, you will have the overdramatic people that will just freaking spam like crazy and do that, right? And if you're at the point where, if you're doing this, stop doing this immediately. If you see that 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 5 seconds before you can ping again, you are pinging way too much. And I promise you, your teammates hear you. If you're able to make the rotation, go over there, what's happening, what's going on, especially if you're the jungler, call out where you're going so your team knows, all right? Because oftentimes people are not looking at the map, so they're not paying attention to where you are. So let them know, hey, I'm on my way to the left lane, okay? And then the person in the left lane is gonna be like, oh, my jungler's on the way. Okay, cool. Let me get ready, because he might gank. This isn't actually a tip that I had written down for this video, all right? But stop FFing. And the reason I say stop that is because probably 85% of the time, the game is not over. Naturally, a match of Predecessor is probably gonna be about 28 to 35 minutes. The game is not over. Just because you are having a bad lane does not mean the game is over and you should throw the game or stand in the tower. Stop doing that. If you do that, if you are the dude that freaking sits in the tower and has a little pouting fit because you lost your lane, that is your fault. Do not throw the entire rest of the game and put your team in a 4v5 situation because you didn't do good in your lane. That is not your team's fault. Stop giving up because you're not doing well or just because you think the game is not winnable. The game can literally turn around because of one team fight, because of one objective. One misplay by the enemy team, your team capitalizes on, they're all down for 60 seconds, there you go. The game is barely starting at 10 minutes, okay? The team might be like level 7, level 8, by that point. The game is not, it's barely starting. The same thing with 15 minutes, okay? The game is barely starting. All right? That is not give up, I'm not doing good. When you play a MOBA, you are 1/5 of the team. You signed up for a 30+ minute game, unless the enemy team FFs. Tip number 4 is follow the strongest person, okay? Here's how you're gonna do this. You're gonna open up this screen right here, and you're gonna look at your team. Who is the strongest on your team? They have a higher level. They have more farm, possibly. They have more kills. They have more gold to get them more items to be stronger. The enemy team is gonna capitalize on the fact that that is the strongest person. And then what they're gonna do is they're gonna constantly dogpile that person because that person has an advantage. The enemy team is they're gonna close that gap of how much further ahead that person on your team is. That person's not gonna be ahead anymore, and then you're just gonna get crushed. Run with the strongest person and help them secure things because they're already strong. Tip number 5 is rotate to objectives, especially if you're the jungle gank. Let's just say, as the ADC, I'm sitting here and I'm just mindlessly hitting the gold buff, okay? I'm the ADC, I need to get the gold buff, right? My team is actively doing the Fangtooth right now, okay? And here's the thing with Chimera. Chimera can start Fangtooth at level 4. 5 minutes into the game, oftentimes I'm already level 4 and I immediately go jump into the Fangtooth pit and I can start hitting it. The reason you need to rotate is because the main damage of the team, ADC stands for attack damage carry, and you're sitting here just farming a wave. I see it happen so much. In this situation, it's obviously different because the minions are in your tower. You have to get them out of your tower. The enemy is, you know, pressuring your lane. I'm hitting the Fangtooth as Kai. I say, hey, you know, attack Fangtooth. The support will rotate over there. Then they're like, oh, go to Fangtooth. Okay. So then they go to Fangtooth, and then you hear, ha, your team got Fangtooth, right? And the ADC is right here. Oh, sorry guys, I didn't know that. Oh, okay. And then he walks away. If you are the ADC or you're just really strong, go to objectives. In a MOBA, it is very time oriented. Time is so important. Everything can come down to you winning or losing based off of a team fight where the enemies are down for 40 seconds and you capitalizing on those 40 seconds that the team is down, that you're able to go get an objective because your team went and everybody's there and you're doing massive damage. So then in 20 seconds, you're able to take out Orb Prime and then rush down the mid lane. The enemy team doesn't even know what to do now because now they have all 5 running down mid with Orb Prime. If you can do something faster, do it. If you can assist your team, this is a 5v5, 5 members of a team versus 5 members of a team. See, right there, there's Kalari. Kalari's gonna try to contest him. Kalari might be like, hey, to the rest of the team and be like, yo, he's right here. He's getting the Fangtooth. We need to get him, right? So then they're gonna jump in on Chimera. They're all gonna dogpile him. They're gonna kill him, all right? And then they're gonna steal the Fangtooth. But if I was there as the damage, I would have been helping them. We would have been able to get the objective faster. This is a team game. Work with your team. Work as a team. Go with your team. Rotate and go to objectives. These 5 tips are not meant to be like, you're doing things wrong. We all start at a place where we don't know everything in the game. Still, I don't know everything in the game. There's a lot of people that probably have 1,000 hours in the game and they still don't know everything. And also, a lot of people that play this game, but also a lot of people that play a lot of other games are also streamers and content creators. But with streaming and content creating comes, unfortunately, the one game trap if you let it. And if you want to know more about that, click this video right here because it'll tell you all about that. Go ahead. You might want to click that because it's right.